iperconnessi, digitali, frenetici, distratti. Dove sono finite le emozioni? Dove sei tu? Fermati. Osserva. Il futuro è già qui. È il presente che evolve. Un'opportunità per abbracciare la nostra storia e costruire un mondo nuovo. È iniziato un nuovo rinascimento. Sei artefice della tua vita e la creatività segue il tuo pensiero. Sei nel tuo tempo, in connessione con la vita e in sintonia con il tuo spazio. La tecnologia ci accompagna come un vento che sospinge verso la tua vera essenza, in ascolto, in armonia. Respira. La natura delle cose è un fluire. E noi siamo finalmente tornati ad essere quello che siamo. Umani.
Possiamo fare un applauso di incoraggiamento per cominciare. Allora, tutto quello che avete appena visto.
What you have seen, this video, is not real. There is nothing real. The model, the locations, the cars, the music, the audio, everything was created by the artificial intelligence. So there is no cast, no stars, no real setting. What we are doing during this meeting is to share with you some ideas concerning the changes brought about by artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has become a concrete reality. So we will tell you how AI has become very helpful for companies and opticians as well. We want to talk about philosophical cases, but we will talk about concrete cases. I have two guests who will give you an overview of the situation. Lorenza Manzoni, owner and founder of Manzoni SRL, and Alberto Favrete, owner and founder of Favrete and Company. So let's start from explaining what this new renaissance is, what we have seen in the video. Lorenzo, is up to you. Thank you for being here with us. We like the idea of providing a context. Many of you will probably know what we are talking about. So what has happened in design? There was a development of design and communication. In the design, in particular, we switched from seeing to being seen. So let's see what has happened. We wanted to show you this image because it is portrayed in all the books talking about eyeglasses. This is an Inuit in 1,000 before Christ. After 6 months of complete darkness, he goes outside, he sees eyes everywhere, and the intensity of the light is too strong. So what did Eskimos do? They created the first sunglasses by using bones, because they could not stand the direct sight of the sunlight on the eyes. So this ancestor is very important because he invented sunglasses. And then in the 12th, 13th century, sight lenses were developed thanks to the Murano glasses. The frame was made out of the materials available there, but they were very hard to find and very hard to process. Few people knew how to read and how to write back then. And then the first industrial revolution that broadened the perspective. It was easier to produce materials to be processed for glasses. Then the second industrial revolution with electricity. Material processing improved, steel was introduced, and also plastic started to being used in glasses. So glasses changed because of these materials. And then the third industrial revolution that changed the rules of the game completely. So eyeglasses are no longer medical devices, but become an accessory, also thanks to a specific material where you can use many different colors. So between the 70s and 80s, we had icons like Pilot, and Paolo Seminara is here with us, and he launched Vogue, for instance. So the contemporary era started. Eyeglasses started becoming a fashionable item. The 20th century, the era of performance, the age of performance, very performing materials like titanium, polycarbonate, lighter eyeglasses, materials easy to process, very performing product. And then, last but not least, a consideration. So we have introduced new materials, and then 3D was discovered. We have smart glasses in our lives. So we have lost contact with the primary function of glasses to protect us from the sunlight. Now we see that glasses have new functions. But we are living in a world where there is massification. The market is overflooded by products. And for designers, it is quite complex to work because of the ongoing changes. What is important today? First of all, to consider the original function of glasses, find additional functions, focus on requirements, and be aware that a product cannot be developed without communication, without a storytelling. And then, as far as communication is concerned, communication as a design has changed completely. There are new instruments, new languages. Alberto, can you give us an overview of the changes over the years in the field of communication? Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. As we have seen, what happened to design can be applied to communication, from the society of images to the society of feelings and communication styles. In the early 50s, we had this kind of communication. The first consumption goods like Campbell's soup and the Warhol cigarettes, Lucky Strike here, Art Deco in the early 20s, the first beauty products on the left-hand side, and in between two world wars, communication followed what was happening. And it became propaganda, with the last poster, which is rather famous. So to uplift, the spirit of workers during the war. From the 50s and the 70s, these were the communication approaches. On the left-hand side, what we call storytelling, dating back to the early 50s. And then in Italy with Armando Testa, minimalism, that is the graphic synthesis, opening up new paths, and then characters with the Marlboro Country, Marlboro Man, the typical character we can identify with, and then provocation. Those who love me, follow me. And this picture was taken by Toscani. And then the negative approach that is not so widely used in communication, but is very effective. What is a negative approach? It means to identify the faults, to highlight the best aspects. Volkswagen, end of the Second World War, Volkswagen had to approach the US market, and the idea of Americans is to think big. You remember the size of American cars in the 50s, very performing engine, etc. And the bug was very small compared to American standards. Volkswagen didn't have much money to invest, so they thought about the opposite motto: think small. The engine of the Bug is not so performing, but it consumes less gasoline. The size is smaller, you can park easily, less stress, and then you stop less to fill in the tank, and you have all these different characteristics illustrated in the poster. So these faults turned into benefits, and then from the 80s to the 21st century, the image society, the media number one was TV. So TV ads, Just Do It, Absolute LA, the first Apple ad in 1988, and then Pirelli in Italy, that reminds the importance of tires with this extremely strong image. Power is useless with no control. Here you see Carl Lewis, Olympic sportsman with high heels. Also in the eyewear industry there was development, and advertisement followed the changes in product. At first, the communication was strictly connected with requirements. I don't see, you come to us, we visit you, we give you the right glasses. And then fashion, the development of personality and communications followed suit and became more glamorous, and then technology and performance. That were two features of communication. I want to focus on this last slide. There is a fil rouge in terms of communication and advertising. That is focus on product. Product is always there. We communicate through the product. You can see it here. I see it at this trade show. So product first. But we have to shift focus now. We are in the age of feelings, of emotions. We communicate to stir an emotion. We are in the so-called self or referential consumption. We have passive consumers who have become active consumers. They want to have something that represents themselves. So what is selling today is the brand, not the product. Please don't get me wrong. Of course, product must be there. Product is important. It's the number one thing. It must be a top quality product, because else consumers, we are better informed, we are more demanding. As Lorenzo said, the market has changed. The supply is enormous. So product first. But what is selling is brand. 30 years ago, Apple understood that. Almost 30 years ago. What did Apple do? In the late 90s, the market of PC was dominated by Microsoft. Apple was rather known, but not so famous as it is today. So they did something extraordinary. They wanted to talk to a very specific target, and a target that was not represented by anyone. That target were the so-called creative people, all those who had something to do with creativeness, photographers, musicians, who were also out of passion. So the idea was to think different. So if you, like we in Apple, think different, if you do not follow the mainstream thought, if you could be criticized because you think out of the box, we think that your approach is what it takes to change the world. This was the message they wanted to convey.
And then this public that didn't feel represented was attracted with such as the protagonists are non-conformists, and each one of them in their own domain created a turning point. I don't see the product at all, and Apple might have sold something different, pressure cookers, but nobody cared because empathy was created. So how do we create the right link between brand and consumers? A small step backwards, we saw it at the beginning of the opening video, our way of enjoying hyper-connection, the digital. Our attention threshold has been reduced to 8-10 seconds. The goldfish has a longer attention span. How can we overcome this attention threshold with a sensorial communication? It's some sort of perception and emotion through artificial creative intelligence. It's a way to create new ideas and developing and communicating the values of the brand through emotions. We do it with fluidity, the speed with which we generate new ideas, flexibility, the ability to observe problems from different perspectives, the lateral approach, with originality that is at the heart of creative intelligence, creating new ideas out of the box. And expansion. An idea can be taken, can be embellished, reprocessed, expanding your creative power. But creativity, what is it? And especially, where is it? I like to define it using the words of a mathematician at the end of the 19th century. Creativity is joining existing elements with new connections that may be useful. Existing elements with new connections that can be useful. It's our post-it. Existing elements, paper, glue. I go beyond rules, a primary function of paper and glue. And I join them and I create something useful. I've created a new rule. That's what we can do today, building our post-it, building our future with full awareness, and we do it through simple communication, but deep communication that can speak to the heart through emotions. And this opportunity is given by artificial intelligence, whether you believe in it or not. So artificial intelligence as an instrument to create, but also to communicate, as we've just seen. So I ask you something. How can artificial intelligence represent an added value for opticians? It's summarized here. Thanks to what Alberto said, an optician. What is an optician? An optician is a brand. And being a brand is challenging. It requires evolved competencies that not everybody has. If you work in an optician's store, you may not have followed a communications course. Some way or another, today we have an opportunity to have an instrument that can support us in the construction of a brand, identification of the values of the brand, brainstorming and knowing how to do it. And after that, we can build social campaign, generate ideas for displaying the store, promotional activities, and so on and so forth. In general, it's useful for so many things. And how can I say? We have an advantage. We shouldn't learn a complex programming language, but working with natural language, we should simply know how to ask right questions for the result we want to attain. I hope I've given you an answer. Rightly so, yes. A very short digression to get to the core of the topic. Obviously, instruments have evolved, and you designers know it. In the 70s, and I'd like to thank Paolo because it's his drawing. They were drawing with free hand. It required manual dexterity, and you had to be able to draw. It's difficult. And then what do you do of the drawing? It should become a physical object. So you need a super skilled technician that translates such traces into machine language. What? And into machine language, it should be read by the machine that then cuts eyeglasses. It was complex. That's same thing in advertisement. They used brushes, colors, one by one. There was painstaking process. And then we got to the introduction of CAD and Illustrator. It's my drawing dating back to 25 years ago. It's here on purpose. It's not bad, Lorenzo. It's a drawing of 25 years ago. Now you can do better. It's here on purpose to stress the point that Illustrator has been with us for so long. We'll go back to it. What happens? The necessary manual ability to draw is considerably reduced. Shift from drawing to CAD is quite easy, and everything is speeded up. And same things in communications. The new brush is represented by the mouse. You have some sort of creative expansion. Now, creatives to create advertising campaigns had an additional instrument with Photoshop and so on and so forth. Just like this example. So it's a hand, but it's also a tire. It's some sort of expansion. Let's now get to present times. Here you just have some possible examples. On your right, you see hand-drawn eyeglasses, and then with a specific software, in a limited time span, you can obtain renderings that were difficult to obtain so quickly in the past. Such tools support us in generating concepts and allow us to get to visualization of the product that is highly evolved and very close to the final object, and this involves so many advantages. Furthermore, you have generative ability. Yes, same thing in communications expansion. Has multiplied even further creative expansion. The only limit is ours, our mind. Let's say that the fundamental point is that all of this can be done by using this new instrument, but those using it are human beings. The most frequent question asked by my former colleagues that know I'm passionate about artificial intelligence is, will it replace us? Will it eliminate jobs? And will it be impossible to express creativity? No, we're proving the opposite. We don't have a crystal ball, but let's say we had this experience. With today's instruments, it's possible to do nice things, but at the basis of it all, you should have human savoir-faire. And what you will see has been done by me and Alberto. Our artificial intelligence was our brush. So, to get into details, what is artificial intelligence and what's its impact on our daily life and our sector, obviously. We'll get to it in a second, and also immediately, perhaps. Yes, okay. Good question. First of all, even if not all sectors have been affected, but our sector has been affected already, and it's been affected more and more. My approach is as it's coming, it's inevitable, and you cannot avoid it. It's better to know it and exploit it to our own advantage. But actually, what is it? It's the ability of a computer to learn to think through the use of an algorithm. A simple example. a child, and you show the child a drawing of sunglasses, and the child says it's sunglasses, and when he sees sunglasses, he recognizes them, and the algorithm is shown many sunglasses, and then they can recognize them. That's the basic functioning of Netflix algorithm, suggesting a movie you might like that might have interest for you, social media and so on and so forth. And it's been with us for so long. But what is generating hype is generative artificial intelligence. It's the ability to learn and think, simulating human thought. There's nothing intentional in artificial intelligence. It's defined as stochastic parrot. It has learned the lesson to repeat. That's it. It doesn't think as we think. Fortunately, we have this advantage. And let's stick to it. It's learning to create, but how does it work? For example, if a child has seen sunglasses and you ask the child to draw sunglasses without seeing them, in his memory, this child has images of sunglasses, and the mind needs to fill the blanks with the fantasy, and he will draw something similar to what you've seen, but it will be different for the exception of exceptional photographic memory. Artificial intelligence have various forms. Artificial intelligence that creates sound, images, text. You show it millions of sunglasses, and then it can generate sunglasses. This doesn't mean it replaces somebody, and our creativity is not limited. From my perspective, it is enhanced. And I'd like to mention Marshall McLuhan. And before we spoke about freehand drawing. Somebody in the past wanted to learn freehand drawing. It takes years. Parallel lines, curves, then you start designing objects. It's a long path. That instrument changes us. Adopting that instrument allows us to change, and as a consequence, the result will change. It's one of the bases that we have used. We, at the moment, have an opportunity to generate new aesthetics. Yes, because the advent of big technologies, some way or another, we've seen it with the computer. And first, you have a learning phase. It's the interesting phase. When you experiment, you try and learn, but the output, some way or other, creates standardization. Not everybody knows the instrument well, so the result is flattening. Then, as you get to know the instrument, it becomes an opportunity, and it's an instrument in our hands. We use it, and it doesn't use us. Same thing is happening and will happen with artificial intelligence. Another theme, very often you may have heard about hallucinations. Some people say artificial intelligence is hallucinations. Generative artificial intelligence is here to create something new. Now things are changing because certain systems allow to carry out research, and from our perspective it's a blessing. I'd like to give you an example. Everybody knows of Stabilo bots, and I got to know its story, how it was created, and it made me smile. The founder of Stabilo was nicknamed the boss. He had a very bad temper. Everybody was frightened. He went to the USA. He saw the first marker with classical shape. He went back to his company and he said, I want you to create a marker with a different shape, and a newcomer in the company was asked to create it, and they kept on rejecting his projects, and at a certain point he said that's how it should be, and that's the origin of an object that lasted in the course of time. The ability of human beings is the ability to recognize when you have an opportunity in something. It's a blessing. And now, during the creation of the video, especially, it's playing. Let's enjoy it.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Ecco, dicevo che ci siamo.
So we had a lot of fun in shooting this video. So this is the negative part of hallucinations, but then you will see where hallucination is a benefit. Okay, so let's analyze the creative process we have adopted. Let's start from the background. So we were in the middle, Milan. Milan is the city of fashion, of design, and we wanted to give something to Milan. Then we also considered steampunk. With steampunk, you create futuristic machines with past technologies. And then the Vitruvian Man. Why? Because it is the epitome of Renaissance. It represents the centrality of man. This was the source of inspiration for our project. So artificial intelligence is a tool we must be able to use. But it's just a tool. Let's talk about the development of the project. So our thesis is that it is a superpower in the hands or whoever wants to create something, like designers, for instance. So I could not live without artificial intelligence now. And artificial intelligence opened up a number of new opportunities. So let's start illustrating the project. So we wanted to create a pair of glasses. So there was a long brainstorming process behind this pair of glasses. It had to represent Mido, the city of Milan, and the Vitruvian Man, an easy to wear, genderless pair of glasses. So we started from a specific design, and then, so the front part, the idea, was to have the symbol of the Vitruvian Man, macrocosm and microcosm. And then we thought about the cathedral pinnacles. We took floral elements, we included these elements in the glass, and we drew inspiration from the cathedral. And through artificial intelligence, we also made all the images of the advertising campaign. We had a lot of fun. So we used the steampunk to generate what you see here, like bicycles based on steam. They do not exist. So we created machines, cars and motorcycles, bicycles that do not exist. Then we also used the AI for the style of the model based on the background we illustrated earlier. And Alberto, also in this case, we worked a lot to find the right model, the model we had in mind. So they didn't press a key and what they wanted appeared suddenly. There is a lot of work behind. Many attempts were made because, of course, it was not, the result of a miracle. So we wanted to imagine future Milan, nature, emotions, technology, all combined together. And this is the visual summary of the product, of design and communication. And be human, that be yourself, be human. Diversities are values, emotions can lead us. Our history is not only tradition, is not only synonym for something ancient, but it refers to our roots. We can be ourselves. We can choose how and what to communicate. So to create the future, we have to rely on imaginations, because future is something ancient. I would like to know whether you have questions or remarks. We are here. Otherwise, we are in the stand just outside the room. You can come and visit us and talk to us and ask whatever you want. No questions, nothing. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I have a question concerning an aspect connected with creation. Have you used a specific AI program, if you can tell us, or have you modified these pictures through Photoshop? We have used different programs. A mixture of tools. What happens is that while we were shooting the video, new tools emerged that helped us, in the process. So you have to be very quick. The advantage is that once you have understood which method to follow, you can use virtually any tool. This is a benefit. But if you want to really focus on what you are doing, you have to be very quick, very fast. We used many different tools. I do brainstorming with ChatGPT and different other systems, and then image generation, Flax, eJourney, These are among the most famous ones. Videos, well, we used many tools. Kling, for instance, for level apps. We use level apps for the audio. Let's say that the speaking approach is not the best, but we have to improve it. It is rather unhuman. Well, for music, there are plenty of music generating devices. How long did it take altogether to develop this project? Well, it took a lot of time. You have to imagine a video shot with a production a year and a half ago. It would be hardly possible to have this video, but this video shot in a classical way would be extremely expensive and also would have taken a lot of time, much longer than what actually needed to shoot this video. But anyway, it was a hard job. I don't know how many hours you worked on it. No, we'd rather not. Privately, we can tell you, but thank you, and in particular for humanity, the human side. Any other question? Yes, I would like to know something more about the selection of materials. Is there any specific reason why you have chosen celluloid? Well, not a poetic reason. This project was based on a mad idea I had, and then Mido accepted our idea. We had very little time at our disposal. The 3D printing system would be particularly good for such a project. And then we decided to use acetate. I'm very happy because I think that the 3D printing will change the world of production completely, but it still has some limits. But acetate was the best product. So this was a quite complex project, especially in terms of manufacturing the pinnacles that you have seen on the glasses. Thank you. But we have revealed, what we were supposed to say to conclude the meeting. Anyway, if you have no questions, I would like to thank the attendees. I see many people here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would like to thank Lorenzo and Alberto. They deserve an applause. And then to show you that artificial intelligence is here, when you go out, you will be gifted with an exclusive gift. That is the glass you have seen in the video.
Grazie ancora e per qualsiasi tipo di informazione.
For any additional information, we are here at the exhibition. Thank you.
Questa roba orrenda.